A lot of Daniel's amigos in the stands. Well, on Twitter, they had hoped Danny Trejo would wave the green machete to start this race, but no. The green flag is in the air, and Austin Cindric takes off. Jones to lead lap 1 from Austin Cindric and Denny Hamlin.
Saw a lot of guys taking it easy right there. Again, we learned a lot yesterday. What you don't want to do is take yourself out of this race, and certainly don't want to do it on the first start.
Tyler Reddick has found his way to the top. That only took a lap and a half.
He likes running the top, and man, does he do a good job at it. I always really enjoyed watching him, especially in the Xfinity car at Homestead. He would run that thing inches off the wall and would never make that mistake and hit it. So we'll see if he can do it all day today.
You just said it, Xfinity. The last time these guys were on the racetrack, short practices, not a lot of rubber down on the racetrack. I would think this track's cleaned up, got some rubber down on the racetrack from that Xfinity race yesterday, probably catching a lot of these guys off guard, tiptoeing into this thing. It's like, I think it is, I think it's good. All right, we're good, let's go racing.
Yeah, the other thing for the rest of the pack, you know, all the race cars are out there. Most everybody ran basically single car runs yesterday. I mean, they ran all at the same time, but there was really no traffic. So you know that the air is much more turbulent today, and it's going to be much more challenging.
Tyler Reddick up for third. Now, Kurt Busch did his pass-through penalty, stayed on the lead lap as they come around. Now, this is what I like from an honorary starter. Danny Trejo has stayed up on the flag stand. That is the best seat in the house right there, as they rumble by at nearly 180 miles an hour.
Tell you what, we just saw everybody that had trouble yesterday, for the most part, down in 3 and 4, was right down and using that apron. You saw that 9 car shoot down there, went for it again. Bold move past the Kyle Busch. I think it takes me back to the opportunity these guys have. You knew they were going to make some adjustments with their cars so they can handle that. He hit that bump that they were all having trouble with. No problem today. Smooth sailing.
Yeah, there's a couple of advantages with that apron. There's more grip because there hasn't been many race cars on it, and there's nobody in front of you typically. So you get a little bit of clean air. You get down there. It's obviously flat. It's off camber from the banking, and I think they're probably just a little bit more careful today, getting a little farther around the corner, and the pace is going to be a little slower with all the race cars being out there.
Don't forget, it's just a shorter way around.
Exactly.
Kyle Busch back to 9th. Ricky Stenhouse moving up to 10th. Erik Jones, first time he has led at California, and this is the first time the 43 has led here since Bobby Labonte in 2007.
I mean, I think that just shows you that things could possibly be a lot different this year with this race car. I know it's really early in the season, but last year I didn't see the 43 car, qualifying out front and leading laps, and look at them out there. So I know they want this car to be a big equalizer, and I think it's definitely going to give some people opportunities to run up front that maybe haven't been on a regular basis before.
Not to mention the offseason. You know, the offseason is time to regroup, try to figure it out, find your strengths and weaknesses, and make some adjustments. And I feel like they are. Speaking of adjustments, these guys are making adjustments. They're migrating to the outside of this racetrack, a line that we've kind of grown to be the norm as in the last few years that we've raced here. Something we saw a lot of in the Xfinity Series yesterday, and they're already jockeying for position for that outside line.
Erik Jones said he couldn't sleep last night, thinking about how the start of this race might play out. So far, so good for him. And for that, you saw that 16 briefly there. That's our
nice laps. You keep opening up car to car and a half each lap.
Every driver I talked to after yesterday's practice and qualifying was on edge, very nervous about how their cars were going to handle in the race.
Second place, Tyler Reddick. On the move. He was in turn 3, dusting up right up next to the wall, right up there last time by. He started 11th.
Does not surprise me in the least, and it doesn't surprise his competition. I talked to a few of his competition drivers, and every one of them said, we want to go to the outside, but we're going to wait till Tyler goes up there and cleans it up first.
Now, among those who had to start out back is Ryan Blaney. Makes a move on his Penske Ford teammate. That white line at the bottom of the track, all that does is help the drivers separate the banking from the apron. You can go below it. You can go all the way to the grass if you want. Kyle Larson had to start out back. He is the biggest mover, up to 16th. Kyle Busch came in here as the only Cup driver active to champion a win here more than once. Here's what he says.
Feels like the left front's too high. Super loose with the back. I got no control with the back. Somebody gets in front of me. His nap's tight. Plow, nose too high.
Man, I think you picked him to win this race in the pre-race.
That's it. Thanks, Glenn. Yeah, he doesn't sound very happy there, but you know, I've known Kyle for a long time. I've watched him race for a long time. I was a teammate for a long time, and he tends to get like that. If they get the car a little bit better for him and get him rolling back toward the front, you know, he's going to be smart. He's going to keep the thing in one piece, and they'll get it rolling.
But I think the reason is what you just heard right there: feedback. With this new car, so many variables going into it, as much feedback as you can give that crew chief so he can do a good job helping you, that's what it's all about. And really nobody does it better than Kyle Busch.
Yeah, and I think with Kyle, the more feedback he gives, the more unhappy he is with his car typically. Like if he doesn't give a lot of feedback, he's pretty happy.
It's a really good snapshot of those different lanes right there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You can count them. Trying to find, as soon as that 9 car, Chase Elliott, moved up against the wall, it forced William Byron to try to find a different line. You do not want to go in the wake of that car in front of you. Same thing goes with, as you see with Chase Elliott right there, looking to the inside of Denny. Denny kind of moved down, took that spot away. Watch this 24 squirt out there on the outside and get right up to the both of them.
How about Ricky Stenhouse in the 47? Started 17th. He's worked his way up into this battle. Nine laps complete. Remember, competition caution coming at lap 20, so teams can check tire wear. They didn't have a long enough practice time to be able to do that, so NASCAR announced that this morning, and Goodyear allotted each team an extra set of tires for the race. They have 12 plus one set they have carried over from practice and qualifying. Eric Jones led the first 10 laps, and then Tyler Reddick got ahead of steam right up by the wall, powered around the outside of Jones' Camaro, and he has set sail. He's led these last 3 laps. Let's check with Jamie Little.
Well, I talked to his crew chief, Tyler Reddick's crew chief, that is, Randall Burnett, this morning, and he said, as soon as they say, gentlemen, start your engines, I'm going to be nervous. But so far, nothing to worry about with this team. Tyler Reddick, they tightened him up to start this race, and that's exactly what he needed. He was too loose early. Those adjustments they needed went in the right direction. He's leading this race, Mike.
We've watched Reddick for his whole, obviously, Cup career, but I'm telling you, when you think of Tyler Reddick, you need somebody on running that outside. Nobody does it better than this. Look at this.
Spin in front of Joey Logano.
Kyle Busch.
Kyle Busch had drifted back from 3rd to about 11th.
The tires are down.
And then goes around coming off turn number 2. First caution of the day.
Everything was fine. It was actually coming in to me. I think I got left rear on a seam. Engine temps were hot. I don't know why.
Yeah, you heard him talk about the seam there. Got the left rear on a seam. So we talked about those a little bit. You can see the black lines in the corners that clearly divide every lane that we're counting 1 through 5 down in 1 and 2 and maybe a little bit less in 3 and 4. So when you cross those seams or get stuck in the seams and don't cross them quick enough, it upsets the race car. So you can see his car right there in the top seam. He thinks he got the left rear stuck in there, lost traction, and lost control of the car.
NASCAR has declared this will be the competition caution, so teams will be able to fuel.
So you can see him moving down slightly right there, and as soon as he covered up that seam, that's right when it happened.
Lock it down. Lock it down.
The hard thing is you heard him say the car was coming to me. It was coming around. The longer he ran, it was starting to tighten up, got on that seam. So it'd be interesting to hear and see how much adjustment you really give this guy. Will the track come to him?
Clint, one observation, Kyle Busch was using a lot more brake than anybody else I'd been watching.
So when your car's loose like that, you got to use your tools. What are your tools? That's that steering wheel, obviously, but you can drag brake. You can drive in the corner harder. Using more brake, it'll kind of drive a tightness more into it. Those are all tricks of the trade, and that's exactly why you see brake.
Pit road is open. Here with, it'll be 16 complete when they cross the line. This will be the competition caution. Jamie.
It's been a great first run for Tyler Reddick in the 8. Led 5 laps there. Car really good. They said, let's leave it alone. Let's see where it goes from here. They'll fill it up with fuel, 4 tires here. Meanwhile, Blaney on the right in the 12. Ryan saying the car is pretty good, but they were trying to figure out if they should take a risk now or just leave it. Regan?
Well, Jamie, the 9 to Chase Elliott, that race car is good right now. He likes to bounce. The problem is he hurt the rear tires early on, which made it too slippery with the back of the race car in the 43. Eric Jones, his race car is too loose in the top of 3 and 4 to run like Tyler Reddick was.
Reddick wins the race off pit road. William Byron and Denny Hamlin, good stops. Kyle Larson as well.
Goes top lane here, pace car away, 10 away.
That's Daniel Suarez in 13th. Here is Austin Cindric in 8th.
Green flag, green flag.
And we are back to green with Tyler Reddick and William Byron up front. Everybody, including Kurt Busch, who was under penalty at the start, still on the lead lap.
1 and 2 sure is fun to watch on a restart. You see cars just spread out all over the place. Looks like they're 4 wide off of turn 2, but I was interested to see how Tyler Reddick would get through 1 and 2, because typically the middle and the bottom will be faster on new tires, and he's just so good on the top.
Speaking of the bottom, I've watched this 9 car and Chase Elliott do exactly what you see these guys, all 3 of them running on that apron, finding some speed down there, way down low in 3 and 4. Everybody was having trouble there yesterday. That's exactly where they were wrecking, spinning, hitting a hole. Little different setup today. You can tell some of these crew chiefs has made some adjustments for these boys, and they can race all over this racetrack. Or off of it, for that matter.
Yeah, but 3.
Stenhouse 7th, going after Martin Truex, making the pass on the outside in the back straightaway. Kyle Larson coming right with him.
Yeah, you see the 5 shoot by there. He got a run off of turn 2 and caught the draft of the car in front of him and just drove right by him on the straightaway.
Starting to see a trend. These Hendrick cars are showing up just like they did last year. You got Elliott, William Byron, and the 5 car Kyle Larson coming on strong.
Now in the morning warm-up, when they started the engine to get some heat in it, they found a problem in the ignition system on Kyle Larson's car. They had to change it, so he had to start this race from the back.
Like what I saw right there. You see Austin Cindric running really close to Kyle Larson on the bottom of them. I really looked at these cars and I was wondering if you get that side draft, you could pull that bottom car around. He held tough right there, really close side drafting.
Yeah, that's for sure the closest we've seen any cars side by side. Typically that inside car will lose a lot of air on the side and get so much more unstable and loose and hard to hold on to it, and it looked like they went through there both pretty stable side by side.
Chase Elliott wants the lead. Spun yesterday while going for the pole, and now he was first. He was fastest in round 1.
He's going to have to get clear up, and he did it right there off of 2. So important to make sure you get up in front of them. If you don't, man, that momentum on the outside really stalls you out.
And that's not shocking. I feel like a lot of times the guys that are really good on the top take a little longer to get going. It takes 10, 15 laps to get the top really rolling, and the cars that can run around the bottom seem to maybe fade a little bit quicker. So it'll be interesting to see if Tyler can run him back down later on in this run.
Cole Custer in the 41 had a big day yesterday here in the Xfinity Series race. Pretty well dominated.
Well, he's putting it to good use. Passed a lot of cars moving up front, holding a pretty wheel. Finesse. You got to take care of these tires, and he logged a lot of laps and learned a lot winning that race yesterday in the Xfinity race.
And even though they're totally different cars, I remember we used to run some Saturdays and then you'd go race on Sunday. When you can go win a race on Saturday, it just builds confidence for the next day. It's a different car, different team, but it's the same racetrack. You're feeling so good coming off a win. It just builds that confidence, and sometimes that means a lot.
Not quite. That's the clear up you're hoping for, and you can't see it. Not a very good vantage point for the spotter either, trying to clear you up, coming right at you at the same time. Hard for him to tell. I think these two are going to battle it out. It's going to be interesting to see. That you can tell right there. Tyler Reddick is more comfortable with his car running right up against the wall. It takes a while for that line to start paying off. It'll be interesting if Chase Elliott can move up and hold pace.
You'll know that line is fully formed when Stenhouse gets up there, because he loves to rim ride, but he's been passing cars on the bottom.
Car is really good, very impressive. Ricky Stenhouse and company on the 47 car. Just like you said, moving all over the place. That's what you need to be competitive on this racetrack. You can't just be good in one lane or the other. Having something that can maneuver around.
Yeah, I mean, before I mentioned about the 43 car, how good he was running. I mean, the 47's another one. You know, he always runs good, but we haven't seen him run up in the top 4 or 5 like this at a intermediate type racetrack. So it's good to see him up there running good and going toward the front.
That's the vision behind this car. Parity. You want everybody to have the same thing, right? Everybody buys these parts and pieces at the same house. That being said, as soon as they get them back, make some adjustments, make it your own. Communication, the things you heard with Kyle Busch, that's what makes the difference.
So we had that first caution flag. That was the competition caution to check tire wear. What have you found, Jamie?
Well, Kyle Larson, as you noted, Mike, started in the backup 21 positions. Now in that first run after 15 laps, he was a little loose. Cliff Daniels, his crew chief, took a look at the tires and said, we've got excessive wear. We really need to maintain and take care of our tires. There's no cords, but definitely an alert, so they'll keep their eye on it.
I'm interested to see which one of those right sides was worn. Is it the right rear or the right front? That has a big deal with how the handling is on your car and how you're managing that.
Now we saw a spin by Kyle Busch. Oh, car on the wall, and it's up front. It is Chase Elliott. Has bounced off the wall. We stay green.
The wall pretty good there.
Yes, he did. Both ends. Not just the right rear.
10-4.
Slap the right front. Now we're going to see if this car, how tough it really is.
Well, carbon fiber reinforced bodies, flange fit.
Easy. Ball, let it go here. Feel it out. Yeah, it hurt something in the front end.
Forged aluminum wheels. That is a pretty good hit. Pretty hard hit, that is.
Yeah, he was just running right up next to that wall. There's just not a lot of room for error there. And you see the car stepped out, and when you got to turn right to catch it, you just don't have any room, and just ended up getting in the wall.
You say room, though. Just like yesterday, this thing steps out, and it's gone. He's lucky he was that close to the wall because it caught him, kept him from spinning out, and kept him moving forward. If that would have been on the bottom of the racetrack, we'd have been under caution right now, and he'd have been asking for a set of tires or a rear clip.
You remember at Daytona, Richard Petty used to always run right up near the wall. And I once asked him why. He says, because it don't hurt so bad when you hit it.
Okay, and I mean, he's into it again. Might have a tire down now.
Just let him go. Just let him go here. Just get off the wall.
Car to the inside is Eric Jones. No chance for Elliott to get down to pit entry, even if that was his desire.
Okay, everybody at home wondering why we went to this car. This thing's still going forward. It's tested tough.
All right, let's get back to pit stops and Regan.
Well, Mike, you see the 18 car right here had a nice run back up through the pack. He's up to about 15th. A little problem with that race car now, though. He's screaming to the team he may have to pit, so we're going to have to keep an eye out for that.
Tire fall off since the start of this run is 1.5 seconds or more.
I'm running out of water. What do you all want to do? We're either going to blow up or we're going to fix it.
Kyle is coming down onto the apron, headed for pit road at a pretty good clip here.
Larry, what can they do? What do you do right here? You can't take tape off the front of it because there is none.
No, the only thing they're going to have to do, they're going to have to try to put water back in this system. Yeah, there's no tape on the nose of the cars. You can see right there. There's a block-off plate in front of the radiator, but no tape on the front end.
Regan.
Mike, the team after that first pit stop, when they had the spin, said they blew about 20 pounds of sand out of the front of that race car. So evidently that's what's causing the overheating, and they're going to have to do the same thing again here.
That's Old Unfaithful right there. Yes, apparently the way these noses are constructed, you can't get in there to clear any debris that may have blown through the grill and sat there in front of the radiator.
Yeah, you see him
Mike,
grab a leaf blower there.
Those black hoses, they're putting water back in the system. It's a pressurized system. That's what those two hoses are.
And then try to get the debris out of the radiator, grab the handy leaf blower, trying to blow the debris out.
Chase Elliott goes around and caution flies for the second time today.
Just gone from bad to worse.
He was in 6th place. At the time, looked like he might be trying to ride that out until a caution flag, and he becomes the caution. Damage to the right side after getting up and into the wall twice. See all the lettering buffed off those Goodyear tires.
Yeah, I'm sure he's got a little damage from the first 2 times he hit the wall there, and car messed up just a little bit and trying to make it as long as he could until the caution, and unfortunately it became the caution.
Where is 4 laps down? Kyle Busch -3. Chase Elliott and Garrett Smithley are 1 lap down as Tyler Reddick and Eric Jones lead the back to green. There's some Austin Cindric audio.
Square, still square, still square, still half up, no run, half up, still outside, half up, 3 wide behind.
How about 4 wide?
Half by half.
You could see when Eric Jones moved over and took that channel in the wake, he got really tight and slid all the way up into the middle of the racetrack, not where he wanted to be.
3 tops to 12 in the middle lane.
Ryan Blaney shoots the middle between Larson on the bottom, and he tried to get Cindric on the top. Nothing there. That opens the door for the 14 of Chase Briscoe.
I feel like the aggression is definitely picking up. The first couple of restarts, I felt like were a little bit, everybody was giving each other a little bit more room. They're definitely racing harder, definitely closer to each other than what they were to start.
Getting way more comfortable.
Well, and aren't new tires Superman's cape?
Yeah, and Chase Briscoe right there you see in the 14. He started quite a ways back, moving to the front. Definitely a guy learning from Cole Custer, his teammate yesterday in the Xfinity Series, running that line exactly where he's running right there.
Apparently nobody told Ricky Stenhouse his average finish here is 19th. He has not wasted a lot of time rocketing right to the front today.
Don't think that 43 car doesn't have the same thing going on. Very impressive out of Eric Jones and company in the 43 today.
50 of 200 laps complete. Tyler Reddick out front by 1.8 seconds as we take you, Fox, side by side. As you saw, Josh Bilicki went for a spin, running 29th at the time. And you also saw Martin Truex get up and brush the wall, and that caused everybody to scatter behind him.
Definitely
watch the 19.
up.
Whoa. Let's ride with Austin Cindric.
Bumper barely. Clear, cannonball clear. Inside, inside, inside. Watch him here.
That was tight.
How did he miss that, or did he?
Well, we're under caution. The question is, how is it not because of these 3 cars? Big hit by Martin Truex, but another huge shot by the 2, and then the 5 as well.
I think the 2 might have missed him.
I believe you're right.
But I think the 5 hit the 2 in the left front really hard.
Erik Jones alongside William Byron in the second row with Chase Briscoe. And we're back to green. Eight laps to go to the end of stage 1.
Fan out the front. Inside 14. Inside 14. Even. Door. Corner. Corner. Never try to drag you back. Corner clear.
You heard him say fanning out. They certainly are all over the racetrack.
See that purple car bounce. Brad Keselowski down on the bottom. That is a filling, loosening ride down there.
Yeah, you saw Denny had a big run off of turn 2 and gave the 6 car a pretty good push right in the middle of the backstretch before we got to turn 3. So everybody's definitely getting more comfortable and more confident.
Not seeing a whole lot of drafting with this car like I thought I would see down the straightaways. All the passing is all just sheer momentum through the center of the corner. It's 14 to Chase Briscoe. Yeah, he just keeps getting closer and closer to the front, and every time he does that, that car is going to handle better and better. It's going to be a big difference, and he gets up here in the clean air amongst the top 3 or 4.
Ooh, crossover move. Jamie?
Chase Briscoe coming off at 3rd place at Daytona. I talked to him before this race, and he said we unloaded. We were pretty off, but we were able to make some decent adjustments in that shortened practice session yesterday. He said as long as I can run the top of this racetrack, we are good. He said I am out of control on the bottom. That's exactly what he's done to get to the front.
Ricky, if he didn't hit the wall, he was really close coming off of 2.
There's Stenhouse to the bottom in that 47. That thing is red like a firecracker, and he's running it today like it's got a short fuse. Since we started stage racing in NASCAR, the stage 1 winner has never failed to go to victory lane.
At Fontana, and I think the worst finish in a stage for any previous winner here at Fontana since stage racing came about is 2nd. So they've won all the first stages, and 2nd is the worst they finished in the 2nd stage. So this could be a little different today. I think this can still be a different race than what we've seen before.
Adjustments, very impressive with the adjustments you've seen on these cars. Yes, they're making ground, but they're also making ground with the adjustments. Every time they see pit road, you see a car just inch a little bit farther to the front, more and more.
Number of top contenders having trouble early as we look back from pole sitter Austin Cindric. Chase Elliott is 2 laps down. Kyle Busch is 4 laps down. Four to go to the end of stage 1. Erik Jones inching up on Tyler Reddick. There's a look at Kyle Busch, 4 back. And William Byron trying to close the gap. Daniel Suarez in 13th. That's our Fox visor cam attached to his helmet. You can see, especially down on the bottom, it's a rough ride here.
Yeah, it makes my head hurt just watching it.
Yeah. Part of that's because, hey, let's face it, the track, yes, it has some character and it's rough, But these teams elect to run these cars very rigid. That's where all the downforce is made underneath this car. You've heard us talk about it a lot with the diffuser in the rear end and things like that. You have to run the car very rigid to be able to control the gap underneath there and get all the downforce.
Ricky Stenhouse now has dropped back to 9th. Regan.
Well, Mike, we talk about teams making a lot of changes so far today. The 47 car has not changed a thing on that race car. Ricky has been quiet all day long. We see him sliding back and losing another position, or close to losing another spot there. He has remained quiet on the radio. Nothing from the driver yet.
Now Blaney behind him is in 10th. That is the last stage point to be earned here in 2 more laps.
Yeah, and you see Ricky hasn't quite committed to the very top yet. Like you see the 8 car up there, the 24 coming through your screen. Some of those guys have committed to that very top lane, staying above that top seam all the way through the corners. Seem to be the best cars on the longer runs.
It surprises me that he's not. When you talk about Ricky Stenhouse, you talk about aggressive, right? That is the guy that's going to put it on the wall, be aggressive right out of the box. So maybe there's something going on with that car that just is a little bit too much on edge, not comfortable to be up there close to the wall just quite yet. Needs some adjustments, just like Regan said.
Yeah, and it's a risk-reward type deal. Maybe he's just not quite ready to risk that until they get their car a little bit more comfortable. And Brian Patty does a great job with that car. He'll get it right for him and get him comfortable, and I'm sure he'll get his way moved up there before the end of the race.
And it does. Last I checked, doesn't pay anything to win stage 1, just some points.
Stenhouse trying to hang on to that final stage point as Tyler Reddick comes around with a half-second lead. And Reddick will get his 5th career stage win and his first at Fontana by half a second over Eric Jones, William Byron, Chase Briscoe, Larson, Bowman, Logano, Blaney, Cindric, and Stenhouse.
There, clear up, clear up, clear up. 24 outside now, outside, just shooting the 24. 11, half back now.
That's Kyle Larson's spotter. The wind is giving him a good push down that back straightaway.
He's giving the 14 a big push too, to the lead as a matter of fact, but now he shoots to the bottom across the apron. You need to hear clear up. That's what the 5 car's listening for right here, and he's going to hear it.
3 wide for 3rd.
You see Denny's car there come off the apron and hit that bump we were talking about all day yesterday, and saw some dust fly out of the bump. Looks like he's still hitting that hole pretty hard down there.
And then you see another push from Tyler Reddick, pushing the 14 to Chase Briscoe right back around Larson, and the 5 back underneath of him. This is the racing that I came for right here.
Kyle Larson just became the race's 6th different official leader at the start-finish line. Chase Briscoe in front. Tyler Reddick wants it back.
And if at all possible, he's going to want to get back around Briscoe before he gets moved all the way up to the top, because that's his line, and it's hard to pass out of that line. And once you get that taken away from you, it's going to be hard to catch up and get back around him.
That's a great point, Matt. And I haven't seen Chase Briscoe really commit to the outside. Really nobody has other than Tyler Reddick. So it's going to be interesting. He's going to have to make that move. As Tyler Reddick, as you see on the outside, he starts to catch him. You see him in the mirror, and you got a choice to make. Either figure it out and get up there in front of him, or let him go by.
Pushing, inside.
That's the one you didn't expect. I'm looking for him on the outside. Which one is it, Spot? Now he's on the bottom.
But is he going to get the lead? No.
Yeah, he got in there plenty hard and was clear in the middle, but you have to be able to continue that corner and be clear off the corner, and you just get so much momentum off that top. And he just couldn't complete the pass.
Fellas, how do you race this hard when somebody's in your ear saying, save those tires, take care of those tires?
It's a great point. And that's what they're out there trying to figure out, right? You got to hold those guys off, because clean air is so important. You can't afford to give those spots up, but you also can't afford to abuse those tires early on in these runs. Very, very difficult to try to balance that management of these tires as you go out through the runs for all these drivers.
William Byron, the only one of the top 4 who did not start his career on dirt. Now up to third.
Well, Mark, does it make you want to be out there?
No, it doesn't, but when I walked across the front stretch and looked down at turn 1, it took my breath. So I don't have any business out there. I let these experts handle it from here on out.
Shoot, Mark could probably still whip half these guys in the field. Don't let them fool you.
Well, you know, one of the things that I'm thinking about here is, you know, those tar strips always were a problem. You know, so that's another thing that you've got to bring into the equation is, you know, if you get on one of those things, and we've seen it today, you get on one of those things, this things can snap around on you pretty quick. But we always had trouble. We always tried to straddle them or stay above or below them. So that's one of the characteristics about this racetrack that even adds another dimension in, you know, getting through the turns.
You see those seams in the asphalt, one just under the left tires of Austin Cindric there. Cindric drove his way to Ruoff Mortgage Victory Lane last week in Daytona. Who could join him this week here in California? Cindric's win, third fewest starts before winning the Daytona 500. Trevor Bayne did it in his second career NASCAR start. And who did it in their very first in 1967? Driving a Holman and Moody Ford, Mario Andretti.
You could really hear him working the throttle in there. Very, you know, aggressive on and off the gas, trying to figure that out. One thing that he has done is move up. I said trying to figure it out. That's running that outside line. You can see those leaders driving off into the sunset doing that. I see Austin Cindric. You talk about learning. He said that in the pre-race show in my interview. I need to learn as much as possible, and that's exactly what you're seeing him do.
Brad Keselowski in the 6th, slots in there in 11th, just ahead of yesterday's winner, Cole Custer. And now they go 3 wide entering. Chase Briscoe out in front in a Stewart-Haas Ford, Larry.
Well, he's got a good race car, but the old pit crew's hitting on all 8 cylinders, Mike. His last 2 trips to pit road, now remember, 4 tires each time. The stop on lap 154, 9.3. The last stop, 9.9, with a wedge adjustment in the right rear.
Wow. That is getting it done. Chase Briscoe, who grew up in Indiana, a huge Tony Stewart fan. Spin, turn 4. One car up by the wall. That was Christopher Bell. Everybody takes evasive action. Denny Hamlin had already come onto pit road before the caution flag flew here at lap 91. Now Hamlin was on his way in. Regan?
Mike, Denny Hamlin had to pit early right there. Issues with the temperature on that race car. The gauge kept climbing to 315 degrees. Said, we've got to come now. As you see, he passes through because of that caution.
So that's the third of the Gibbs car to hit pit road with overheating issues. One of them earlier was Christopher Bell. The other was Kyle Busch. Bell was 13th when this happened. Pace car is in. Reddick and Briscoe once again bring them to green. Christopher Bell's car still sits motionless on pit road. Five wide, looks like I-10 out there. Eric Jones picked up 5 spots on that restart by going to the bottom of the racetrack.
And it was all a big run getting up through the gearbox. He pushed hard as soon as he got across the start-finish line. You saw him peek to the inside, bold move, and it paid off.
How do you get from 4 wide in the middle of the corner to single file or 2 wide down the straightaway? How much of it's give, how much of it's take?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like a funnel. You know, you get through there as quick as you can, and you all have to funnel up to the top. So when you're coming off the bottom, you just have to use all the asphalt to get up to the wall to maintain your momentum. So you get so much more momentum off the top, but you get through the center of the corner much faster on the bottom. So like Clint says, when you're on the bottom, you want to get clear as soon as possible and get up in front of them and take that outside lane away for the straightaway.
Flip side of that is, look at the difference. I take it back to the last restart, or moreover, the win off of pit road. You see Chase Briscoe back there mired in traffic. Now he doesn't have that preferred line. The guys are squirting down to the bottom of him, slide jobbing him up, and now he's 5th or 6th on the sheet and is in big trouble with dirty air in front of him.
Keep an eye out for Chase Elliott. He's back on the lead lap. He restarted 25th. He is up to 18th and working his way through the field. There he is, 3rd in this line.
Also, it's interesting if you look at the top 4, Joey Logano all the way up to 4th place, but all 4 of them just ran their fastest lap of the race, and I would never think that you would see that almost halfway through the race.
Now watch how Eric Jones gains 4 or 5 spots here on this restart. 4th on the inside as they take the green.
Had the run, like I said, he had the momentum. As soon as he got to the bumper of Joey Logano in the 22, he hung a left on him, side dropped it off of him, and look at the difference it made.
Well, Mike, it has been an up and down day. That race car a couple runs ago started getting too loose for him. He started losing a little bit of ground. They've since made that car better. He's not that unhappy with the race car. The biggest issue, though, these restarts, he keeps getting the wrong line, and the caution is out.
That's a pretty hard hit for Chris Buescher. He was one of the drivers who spun yesterday without contact. And Buescher was 14th and on the lead lap when that happened.
Tires down there?
I think he's up in the middle of 1 and 2.
Blue tire on entry.
Yeah, you heard his radio there say he blew a tire on entry.
So at lap 112, we have this race's 6th caution flag of the day. And we're going to look through the windshield of Kurt Busch on our Monster Energy cam.
Yeah, the wreck was kind of over by the time we could see it in the camera view there. But you seen Chris as he drove away, he had a flat left rear tire. The other 3 were up. So he said he blew a tire on entry. I know a lot of people were trying to get low on air pressure to have good grip at the end of the run, and he possibly got a flat left rear tire, and that's what caused him to spin. See that 43, a lot like the last restart. He really went through the bottom of 1 and 2 really fast. He got through there fast enough to actually clear the leader. Don't know how long he'll hold him off, but it's doing a great job through that first set of corners.
The thing really has up front speed in these runs. I don't know if his pressures are up, it's just the way the setup is, but he has a ton of grip and comfort right off the bat. Where these other guys are kind of slip-sliding around, he's able to be very aggressive on the restarts.
And around goes Keselowski.
Well, just let it roll, let it go straight. Let it go straight a second. You're not going to hit anything, just go straight. There you go, you're good.
Caution number 7, lap 117. Let's go back and see what, as he refires, let's see what happened to Brad.
Yeah, there's Brad. You see him go all the way down to the apron on the bottom, trying to get a run. 22 sneaking outside of him here a little bit. And he just got loose. He came off that bottom. Looks like he hit that bump, and the rear of the car got upset. And when he had to slow down a little bit and turn the steering wheel to the right to catch that car to keep it from spinning out, he just got up in front of traffic and couldn't hold it.
Kyle Larson, 3 Camaros ahead of 5 Fords, and then Denny Hamlin's Toyota as we go back to green.
Car did it again. The 5 even tried to get down on his quarter panel and slow him down just a little bit, and he just rolls the center of 1 and 2 so fast on that first lap. He cleared both those rows of cars and got out front.
2 wide behind us with the 22. Cover top, cover top, cover top, cover.
That is Eric Jones' spotter. Rick Corelli, who was one of the greats of the NASCAR Truck Series.
And what you heard him say right there, I heard Mark Martin talk about this when he was up here, and it's exactly right. You can't just change directions. When you're at home and you see that car and he said clear or check, protect high, it's not like you can just hang a right in there and then redirect your momentum back to the left. You've got to slowly do that, methodically move up and try to close off that block.
Alex Bowman at the tail end of this group brushed the wall last time by. Reddick back to the lead over Jones. Logano has fought his way to third. Larson fourth.
You set him up, and it takes a couple laps to make it do, because you make a pass, you hang to the outside, you think you're in the preferred line. If he hangs a left and drags you down, now you start the process over again. He's going to get you in that corner. Eventually, you'll get the job done.
Last lap of stage 2. Tyler Reddick has opened it up on Eric Jones, turning his fastest laps of the race within the last half dozen here.
Well, I guess that explains it. They're racing for the last stage points, so that's totally understandable.
Yeah. It's time to get established in these stage points. They're so valuable as you go throughout this season. I gave everybody a pass last week at the Daytona 500. It's all about that Harley J. Earl trophy. Now we need some stage points, and Tyler Reddick and company did it.
Going to be side by side for fourth. Well, it was. And Blaney prevailed. So it's Reddick, Jones, Logano, Blaney, Larson, Custer, Cindric, Almirola, Byron, and Hamlin. Tyler Reddick, Eric Jones. Austin Cindric way up high in that yellow deuce. Look at the launch. He gets off the corner. Gets blocked for his trouble.
Yeah, you saw Cole make that quick move. He was probably hearing the same thing from his spotter about cover the top and get up there, and he had a pretty big run on him there for making that move, but he got in the hole.
4 wide. Oh, trouble. One car slides and saves. And everybody scatters.
10 car of Eric Almirola.
We stay green.
He's going to go ahead and come down pit road.
Yeah, he's I guess it's the only car we've seen not spin out.
Had one of those in practice and saved it. Almirola was in 6th place. Now he rolls all the way down pit road, does not stop in his pit to stay on the lead lap. Show you yesterday and today for Eric Almirola.
Yeah, yesterday's is pretty awesome, as you'll see here. Same thing there, Clinton. You saw him hit that bump, and you saw the stuff come out the back of the car with the rub blocks or diffuser. Whatever's hitting the ground back there is definitely upsetting the car.
Certainly did.
But Tyler Reddick, there's his career to date. And today he's led 87 of 149 laps and won both stages.
But I tell you what, Eric Jones is not letting him get away. He's been dogging him here for several laps. He's working a little bit lower on the track to keep some clean air in that nose. And it looks like Tyler, that's the second time we've seen him wiggle just a little bit loose. Earlier, Clint mentioned how he wiggled getting into turn 1, and he just had a little wiggle off turn 2 there as well.
The other thing I see on the 43 on the front grille, you see some debris right there. And any little crumb in this sport, as tight as things are, helps. I can't help but to think maybe a little bit more downforce on the front of that thing. Free, give and trash.
They said you can't put tape on it. They didn't say anybody else couldn't.
Well, that's true. What might help is a Sunday NASCAR on Fox. Crank it up.
Didn't even pick up the paint. All good here. Inside. Clear. Balance check here down the back.
Eight just blew a tire.
What has happened to Tyler Reddick? Jamie.
He just radioed to his team. I got a vibration. He's saying it's a right rear flat. His team getting up on the wall. Trouble for our leader here as he drops back.
He just got hit.
He hits the wall, guys.
And William Byron is involved. And now caution waves. 9th caution of the day.
Well, it definitely went from bad to worse right there for Tyler Reddick, but including William Byron. He was making his way back up to the front. Huge blow for them. I think that tire is blowing out. You alluded to it earlier with Chris Buescher, maybe possibly running those things too low on air and eventually got the best of it.
Yeah, I didn't mean to jump in and to crank it up there, but I saw on the edge of the camera rubber fly off the back of his car and immediately slowed up. I think he blew a left rear tire right down there in turn 1.
Yep, there it is.
Now cars getting through on the inside. William Byron is not one of them.
That was really odd. That was really late. It'd be interesting to see the whole view if there were some other cars around him. But
or
that
he
was,
got loose and had to catch it.
Yeah, because that was quite a while after he was going slow up against the top.
Reddick has made his way to his pit with caution out. I believe Byron was starting to get out of his car.
It's a little bit interesting to me that 43 had control of the race and chose the outside instead of the inside. He's had so much good fortune on the inside. Every single restart just flying through 1 and 2 on the bottom, coming out with the lead a lot of times off of turn 2. Chose the top this time and let a couple guys slide by him.
Chase Elliott coming out of turn 2. He just about slammed that door off its hinges.
Well, he slammed the door off the hinges for the 48 car, but that shows how important that is. You have to get up there. That window closes so fast off of 2. If you don't get it closed, you're going to wish you did. Probably back in about 15.
Now NASCAR has the restart under review, making sure that Erik Jones was the first car to fire off in the Geico restart zone. It's okay to beat the control car to the line, but it is not okay to hit the gas. Trouble turn 2. Keselowski and more. I think is that Wallace in it?
Off the 2 guys, we might be done here.
Oh. The restart was fine, we are told, and Harrison Burton is torn up for the 2nd week in a row through nothing of his doing. He was the 3rd car in after Bubba Wallace. 10th caution flag. So at least Brad Keselowski, Bubba Wallace, and Harrison Burton involved coming out of turn 2. And that funnel you talked about, Matt, it's just almost like the bottom of it closed right up.
Yeah, like Glenn was saying, you got to try to get in that hole to get to the top because you lose so much momentum off the bottom when they all stack up. We'll see here what caused it, but you just have so much momentum down there. It looks like Bubba's trying to squeeze up in the middle here and got Brad in the left rear and started the accident.
Cindric in it. And then Burton. Fortunately, you don't need that clutch to come up through the gears because here we go.
Side bumper barely. Quick clear up half, go for back. He's going to get there. You're quick clear, you're good, got it.
Logano spotter.
He heard that spotter. You can kind of tell he wasn't quite sure. He was listening to the mirror. Seemed like he was more sure than the spotter was. He did it. Kind of almost cleared himself, is what it sounded to me like. Pretty important clear, isn't it?
Yeah. And I think that's the trust you have working with a spotter for a long time. You kind of understand his tone of voice. It's not always what he says. A lot of times it's how he says it. And you kind of anticipate a little bit there and make that move sometimes before he can call it.
You see an old-fashioned slide job right there out of a dirt racer.
Ooh, third place right behind them, 3 wide. And coming right up through the middle is Blaney. Whoa. There is no rush hour like afternoon rush hour in Southern California.
That was a lot going on for a straightaway right there.
Rick Hendrick's Camaros now first, fourth, and fifth. Larson, Elliott, Bowman, all have had their issues today. Penske Ford second and third.
I was just going to say, how about Blaney joining his teammate Logano up there? Blaney is starting to show up. One of those names that haven't really seen much of. All of a sudden, here he is.
He's been patient and smart all day, and he's there and then when it's counting right now.
Said he hadn't been anywhere. 6th, 8th, 4th. Pretty much been in the money all day.
Still there's 22. Still there, corner. Back even, just a 22 by 6 behind him. Still just you and him.
Second place at stake there. And don't look now, but guess who just popped into the top 10 for the first time today? The closer, Kevin Harvick.
I told you, if anybody can figure it out, that's that man right there. Never gives up. Somehow, some way, always seems to be there when the time's right.
One back to 4, 1 lane down.
Harvick looking for 9th place against Daniel Suarez.
Got help from the 11.
Hamlin with him.
No, it went underneath of him. Pass them both, the 0-2 for 2 for 1. How about that? Better get up, though. Here comes the 99. 99 had to lift out of the gas. Trying to beat him around there, wasn't he? Getting to the position, drove a push into it. Had to lift back out of the gas, keep from knocking the wall down.
Maximize your throttle time on exit of 4 right here.
So maximize your throttle time. That means try to figure out how to keep that throttle down. You saw it right there. He did the same thing in 1 and 2, in my opinion. He got on the gas too early, couldn't stick with it. When he lifted, you saw the difference that it made. Almost 2 car lengths gain from Kevin when he got had to lift out of the gas. Excuse me, the 11.
Yeah, when you got to lift late in a corner like that, you lose so much momentum. Sometimes it takes a whole nother lap to really get going and get back in that same rhythm and same lap time and same speed and momentum that you had before.
Did it right there as well. You heard him have to get out of the gas on the exit of the corner. So what do you do there, Matt? How do I get this thing to where I can, throttle down all the way up off the corner and not have to give up?
Yeah, I mean, I think you just keep working on your corner entry stuff. Sometimes when you try not to drive in so hard, you're getting in the gas earlier, and then sometimes you build so much momentum you actually have to lift again later. So I think it's just all about the entry, and obviously your handling. There's a lot of times where you just can't do it, but just not giving it too much throttle too early.
Kyle Larson holding an 0.8 of a second lead over Ryan Blaney. Jamie?
And the first time that Kyle Larson has led today. Talked to Cliff Daniels, his crew chief, this morning. He said, listen, today is the first time we will get a data point, an accurate data point on this new car. We want to be on the smart side, not the desperate side. Today they have been smart, taking care of their equipment, reminding his driver to take care of those tires. And look, he went from the back to the front when it counted most.
Ross Chastain, turn 4. Lot of smoke down to the inside. Everybody, it looks like, is going to get through. Chastain had been finally having a great day, working his way up to 6th place.
Looks like he's going to be stuck as well.
So when the front wheels are on the banking and the rear wheels are down on the flat, it's going to be hard to get that car moving.
Yeah, again, it looked like the left rear was possibly on that seam, trying to run down the 43 car there, just a little lower than him. And it was kind of the same area where that bump is, and just seemed like it just broke traction so quick he couldn't catch it. kind of that same area where the tunnel goes through and that bump is.
And it done such a good job of digging out of the hole, you know, getting back up through the pack. I know it, buddy. It's exactly what he thought.
Green flag.
I'm pushing him still.
Five's already pushed somebody out to the lead and then dove underneath of him, that's what you see right there. Saw it earlier in the race. Chase is just not going to be able to hold his own up there.
Briscoe on old tires, fading fast.
Yeah, Kyle did a great job on that restart. He pushed him on the straightaway where he was stable, and as soon as he got to the corner, he made sure he picked a different lane because those old tires weren't going to hold on for more than a corner.
Joey to the bottom.
I was watching Joey in the pits. He got out of his pit stall fine. It looked like that clutch issue, didn't bother
48
him.
in the wall.
And Bowman in the wall, entering 3.
Stay up there. You got a handful more.
Who's going to be in the lead right here? Is the caution going to come out?
No, we're still green. And Bowman.
Look at this! Whoa!
I think Chase might have hit the wall there.
He definitely hit the wall.
Now Bowman has made it to pit road. No caution flag. I think, Clint, your eyes got bigger than his.
Yeah,
here's another one.
Got hurt.
Trying to go for the twofer. He shoots up. It looked like Kyle thought he was going to go with him, and he shot to the outside to try to get the outside. Kyle moved up to the block, and it was too late. Stuck him in the fence.
Nice recovery by Chase Elliott.
Man, and Alex Bowman just jumped out from underneath of him, maybe on the seam, and he hit hard.
Chase Elliott on the radio was not happy with his teammates' abrupt move to the top.
I don't think you want to hear what he had to say.
Jamie?
Kyle Larson's radio. Kyle said, I didn't know he was there.
That will be of little comfort. It's got to be hard to have teammates in a situation like this. You can't look out for them, can you?
Well, hey, the way I see it, as a teammate, you're thinking a teammate is going to help you, push you by the guy that you're having trouble with side to side in a drag race. He stuck him 3 wide. He made the block, and unfortunately, could have wrecked them both right there.
Well, it'll be an interesting radioactive on Race Hub this week, that's for sure. 3rd, 4th, 5th, Austin Dillon, Daniel Suarez, Eric Jones.
Look at him wheel this thing all the way up off the corner. I've seen it with Alex Bowman right there loose and into the wall. It's pretty amazing, these guys, and the effort that they put into this race, driving their butts off.
Got into a little dust up there with Chase Elliott. No contact between them, but Elliott got up and into the wall. And now is close to going a lap down to his teammate. Oh.
Definitely showed his displeasure right there, and rightfully so. It was a bad deal.
And Larson's really starting to stretch it out. He's been a couple tenths faster than the 2nd place car here for a few laps.
Been watching, kind of chose a different line right there. It's like the 3.5 marker, straddling that marker in 1 and 2 in between the 3rd lane and the 4th lane.
And Logano may fall into the clutches of Austin Dillon here.
And this is where I think that alliance that we talked about with RCR, Jones is part of that. I can't help but to think, Matt, that maybe some air pressure, some things like that they were doing, it worked well for them. Maybe that information was, transferred over to the 3 of Austin Dillon, made those adjustments, and here he is.
Yeah, it seems like all those cars are running well. The more cars you're affiliated with, a lot of times when one runs good, they'll all run well, and vice versa. If they're having an off day and they totally missed something on the sim or something they were thinking about doing this week, they probably all have to work through it.
Denny Hamlin's moved up to 6th. He's the leading Toyota behind 3 Chevys and 2 Fords.
You can see that in-car there talking about the view. It's not only the sun setting, but we've talked about these cars and how much sand comes off this racetrack and off that diffuser and how pitted everybody's windshields get by the end of the day. And you can see visibility is tough getting into turn 3.
That's Daniel Hemrick behind Kurt Busch. They are 12th and 13th.
Listen and wheel that thing. Throttle down, up off the gas, pedaling it, baby.
It's so different from last time we were here 2 years ago.
Chase Elliott, after going a lap down, turns it around. And caution waves. That would be the 12th caution flag. The Larson fans are no happier than Kyle Larson right now. Larson outside, Suarez inside, and they are even coming past the line.
Trying to get to his outside. He almost did.
Erik Jones with a good run off the top. He's the third car back on the outside. He's led a lot today. Down to the bottom goes Logano.
3 wide here. 3 wide here in the middle. 5 tight to 22. Got loose. Clear high here. Clear high. 22 back inside. Clear high. Protect the top. Protect the top. Up, 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 up.
Watch the push from the 43. Erik Jones pushing on Daniel Suarez. Here comes a run.
That 99
do with it?
Head of steam right here.
Drops down to make the pass.
It's not clear.
Back out there. Back out there.
Clear.
Now clear. 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 Come on.
Dylan to the bottom, trying to make something happen. Doesn't have quite the run off the corner, but the top lane did.
Hit your mark. He's getting pushed a little. Now he's off. 3 lanes up. 4 lanes up.
Daniel Suarez leading this race with 2 laps to go.
Here
I don't
comes
think
a big
anybody would have
run.
guessed that.
Big run for Larson in the draft. Drops to the bottom and at the line. Larson by a car length. 3 Chevys fighting it out for the win.
You heard Daniel really shoot down to the bottom of track in 3 and 4 and have to lift big time up off the corner. You heard the spotter earlier in that last run trying to coach him. Needed a better exit off of turn 4.
Now it's Dylan. Dylan in the draft. His chance to make a run at Kyle Larson. With a lap and a half to go.
Larson's going to open that door to the inside, but Austin's kind of running the middle of the track, trying to keep as much momentum as possible.
I expected him to shoot the bottom and try that apron to try to get rolled up in the middle and side draft him.
The white flag waves, 1 to go, sponsored by Credit One Bank. And around goes the 31, sliding down through the grass. Everybody may get through this. He bounces off the wall. They've taken the white. We are still green. Larson with 3/10 on Dylan. Erik Jones closing up for second. Can anybody catch Kyle Larson?
Not today.
You're going to the bottom here.
Watch Jones, the big run on the outside.
Dylan on the bottom, slides up right to the tail of the 5. Here they come for the checkered flag. Kyle Larson keeps that surfboard trophy in California.
Man, what a race, and you can't really say enough about Austin Dillon, Jones, and Suarez. I mean, I don't think anybody would have picked those guys to be 2nd, 3rd, and 4th today, necessarily all of them. So, man, heck of a race.
Elk Grove, California's 29-year-old defending series champ. Kyle Larson is going to victory lane for his 17th career win and his 11th with Hendrick Motorsports. Let's go back and watch the move he made to take the lead.
See Daniel Suarez, he had to lift right there to stay out of the wall as he was approaching the out. And man, the run he had off the banking.
Yeah, he had such a big run that Daniel couldn't even get to his right side to try to side draft him.
And Austin Dillon, man, being right there at the end of I thought he was going to give a run. had a shot at it in 3 and 4. I thought he was going to move down a little bit more than he did.
Chevrolet sweeps the top 4 spots.
How about this? Kevin Harvick, Eric Almirola, where did they come from? Top 10, Kurt Busch from the back, another top 10.
4 Chevys, Larson, Dillon, Jones, Suarez. Then 3 Fords, Logano, Almirola, and Harvick. Kurt Busch is the highest finishing Toyota in 8th after starting last. Daniel Hemrick came from 6 laps down to finish 9th, and Ricky Stenhouse, top 10.
Amazing job by those guys. Kurt didn't only start last, he started last several times.
Yes.
Hemrick, as you said, made all those laps up, got a top 10, doesn't even run the series full time, and Ricky Stenhouse running 10th. Just a really solid day for that team.
Kyle Busch got back on the lead lap just in time for the last restart and gained 7 more spots. Finishes 14th behind teammates Truex and ahead of teammate Denny Hamlin. What can't this fella do with a race car?
Yeah, Kyle's more than pretty good. He is just an amazing talent. We kind of always knew it, and when he got in this car last year, I think everybody knew that he was going to be the guy to beat. And I really don't see that changing for some time to come, really.
He started this race under penalty in the rear. They changed an ignition part this morning that they found to be faulty during the morning fire up and warm up. And he comes to a halt on the front straightaway. #281st career win for car owner Rick Hendrick. Here's Regan Smith.
Kyle Larson climbing from the car, saluting all his California fans. Kyle, it doesn't matter the car, it doesn't matter the track, you just get in it, you go fast. Your 2nd career victory at California Speedway.
Yeah, thanks. It's always fun here to win in the home state. So hard work all weekend there. Didn't feel great in practice yesterday. Cliff and everybody made some good adjustments overnight, and the car handled a lot better. There was definitely some guys that were quicker than us, but they had their misfortune. So just kept our heads in it all day, long race. Just restarts were crazy. The whole runs were crazy. So definitely wild, but cool to get a win here in California, and hopefully get on a little streak.
Kyle Larson comes home to California and wins.
What a performance.